so you choose different devices, right? Sorry, in this case we choose routers. Now routers are always connected to switches. So here at the same place you have network devices. The next one is switches. When you click on switches, here on the right side it gives you a list of all the available switches in Packet Tracer. In our lab, we are using 2960 series switches. Okay, so I prefer whenever you're doing the lab on Packet Tracer to use 2960 series switch. And this is 2960 series switch is the first one. Here you just so drag and drop. I think for now, two switches are enough. Now, when you're setting up this is just like creating a real network, setting up a real network. First, what you do is you gather all your devices, you place all your devices in your server room or wiring closet. Okay, we'll learn about that later. So first you gather all your devices. Now, so you have routers, you have switches. Switches are connected to servers or computers. So here next to the network devices is called you have end devices. So if you click on end devices, it gives you the list of end devices. End devices meaning devices that connects to the network. It could be, what are the example of end devices? Can somebody tell me, give me the example of end devices?
PC, laptop, server,
Laptop, computer, what else?
Grid. Power grid, sorry.
What did you say? Say that again.
Cell phones also.
Power grid.
Power grid, phones, IP phones, these days TV is an end device. How many of you, printers, excellent, printers are connected to the network these days. You're never going to see a printer that is connected to a computer. It's a network device.
Mm-hmm.
Tablets. So there are many end devices, and this is what you have to deal with when you when you start working. It's those days are
Cardio
gone.
watch, so.
Go ahead, Kwasi.
Cardio watches. Cardio watches.
True.
Okay. All right. Now you're talking about gadgets, eh? For home users. Okay. So those days are gone when a tech support only has to deal with desktop and Windows. Okay. And maybe 10, 15 years ago, the only thing you need to know to be a tech support is a Windows operating system and computer hardware. Those days are gone. Now, a tech support, even the entry level job, and you'll see later. Well, I don't know. You guys are lucky that I'm teaching you career management as well, because I I would I have a lot of information for you guys for that module. So those days are gone. Now you have to know tablet. You have to know networking very well. Oh God, smart fridges. That's true. You have
What
a
about,
smart. Well,
what
I
about
don't know. You
what
have
about
fridges.
Google
You have
cars?
appliances, washing machines. You have a stove.
What about Google machine? Google cars also.
Well, it doesn't exist, but cars too. Tesla, online update, Wi-Fi. So, and what is in common between all these devices? Can somebody tell me?
And uh shoot. And devices.
Yeah, what is in common between all? What is the common denominator between a whatever a smart fridge, a smart car, a cell phone, and a desktop? These are very different devices in terms of functionality, but
Hmm.
there's one thing in common between them.
Networking.
Networking, they're all connected to a network using the same technology. You're going to learn later on when we will learn about protocols like your cell phone, your computer, your tablet, Wi-Fi, how they're all interconnected to create the network. Okay, so you have to learn. Well, the point is you have to learn multiple to use how to. You have to learn how to the fundamentals of different devices, the protocol and the thing they use. Okay, all right. Let's get back to. Sometime I steer away from the main topic, so you just bring me back. Okay, all right. So we're talking about here packet tracer. So and devices here. So since it's a simulator, you don't have a smart fridge or whatever, or a smart car, but you can choose many different devices. So one of the main devices is a PC for testing, especially when you're testing your connectivity, IP addresses. And I also like to choose server. So you click server because this can simulate a server. Well, you cannot go and create the user and group, but it simulates a web server, HTTP server, DHCP server, and you can try your configuration. Okay, IP phones, you can also use IP phone, and there's tablet and TV, whatever. Okay. Now, what is the next step? So just think. Did I teach you guys researching information?
Yes.
Module
Yes, we
5,
did. Mm.
that your group, and you're the group who were complaining about assignments, or it was a different group?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So whatever. So the assignment that I gave, I don't know, because one group I remember was saying, "Oh, it's assignments too many." I don't know which one. Anyway, nobody else had a problem except this group. Okay, so if you remember researching, we were setting up a network for a company. I don't know. Did I do that assignment with you guys where you
Yeah.
were setting up a
Yes,
network?
yes, yes.
Exactly. And that's, you see, that was the start of your assignment, guys.
Yeah.
That was the research, and we're going to carry this because I like to use real world example. And that was a real network that I created, I was responsible of. So we just gonna carry on. So I don't know how much you guys remember. Oh, I don't know if you did the assignment, you remember. So we're gonna carry on this assignment. All right. So think of this as a company's network. Now, what is the next step when you setting up a net? We have already done networking, well, server courses. So what are we missing here?
We need the wires. We need the wires to connect it.
Yeah, exactly.
Connection. Exactly. It could be wireless connection. And let me put in some. So connection. So we have to connect these devices. So here we go. Here, when you click this orange, I don't know, the symbol, lightning symbol, it gives you different types of connection. Okay. Now you're going to learn in this course, in this module, what type of cable or what type of connection you need to connect a particular device. For example, you cannot connect a PC to a switch using serial connection. You see, it won't give you the link to connect. So this is, I'm just showing you all the different connection types you're going to learn later on in the module. Here, I'm just showing you how to use Packet Tracer. Okay. So for example, serial connection, you can only use to connect different to connect routers. Okay. So here, so how do you connect a computer to a switch? What type of cable do you use? Anybody knows?
And you take a straight wire.
Yes, straight through copper. So if you highlight this, if you highlight each connection, it will tell you at the in the bottom here what type of cable it is. And
On this console, yeah.
please pay attention, because a lot of people make this mistake. I wish I had a nickel every time somebody made this mistake. I would be a millionaire. Because what happened is, so somebody, a student, create the whole topology, configure everything, all the IP addresses, password, all this. And when they start testing the connection, what happens? Nothing works. Meaning when they ping from one computer to the server, it's not working. And they go and they check their IP address and whatever. And at the end, they find out they're using the wrong cable. Instead of straight through, they're using crossover. Okay. So this is very, very important. When you're doing the lab, always pay attention to the cable type. A lot of people, they overlook the cable type, and then nothing works. In reality, most of the network problems are related to the links, physical links, meaning cables or wireless, whatever link is there. Okay, so this is very important. You choose the right cable. So here, yeah, PC2. So it goes to fast Ethernet, and you click to, and you see it gives you the list of all the ports on the switch. So you have to choose the port. IP phone, how an IP phone is connected to the network using the same switch. By the way, I have a real IP phone in our lab, so you will see, you'll practice if you have time, if we have time. The thing is, I have so much to teach, but not enough time. The 105-hour module. And anyway, what else? Now, I'm going to explain this to you later so yeah, when you connect routers to the routers, there are two ways to connect routers. Either using their Ethernet port, like this, you see the port. And also you can connect routers using the serial ports. We will talk about that later. Actually, we'll talk about that. For now, we just stick to these ports. And yeah, that's all. That's how you connect. So this is how you create the topology. This is the first step to create the topology. Now, all the routers, the main thing about configuring network devices is how to learn the network operating system. Switch has its own operating system. Router has its own operating system, and this is what we are doing. We are learning how to configure these devices using the Cisco iOS or Cisco operating system. How the iOS looks like? It's command line. Okay, there's no graphical user interface. Everything you have to do, you have to use commands to assign users, to create passwords, to assign IP addresses to the interfaces. So it's all command line. Have you guys done any command line in Linux? How much command lines you have done in Linux?
One module.
But
Basic Linux.
but you guys know the fundamentals of command line, right? Basics of
Yeah.
command line. Yeah, exactly. So the fundamentals are the same. It's just the commands are different. So if you already have done some command line, it will help. So in a packet tracer, I'm gonna tell you later how to access command line on a real devices when you go to the lab. On a packet tracer, you can double click on the device and click CLI, and it will take you to the command line. And here you can configure and practice your commands. in the simulator. So you click here, click no. Okay, right now I'm not teaching you how to configure a switch. It's just how to use the packet tracer. That's all I'm covering right now. Okay, we will cover all that later. This is how it looks like, the command line interface. Okay, and this is what you have to do. You have to use command and what else is here? So this is how you configure networking devices, right? So this is switch. Switches also has IO operating system, and there are many things you can do with switches. Actually, if you become a network administrator or even a tech support, level 2 or 3 tech support, you're going to start with level 1, but eventually, I'm sure with your knowledge, if you pay attention in this program, or if you'll pay attention to these module, very soon you'll be promoted to level 2 and level 3, and that's where you have to configure switches. It's not just you take the device and connect to the switch, and they start communicating with each other. That was the case again 15 years ago. Now you need switch to manage your network. Switch can use to secure your network. Switch are used to improve your network performance. Okay, and how you do it? By using the operating system that is installed in the switch. And in the case of Cisco, it's all command line. And in the packet tracer, you will see, so you click on the switch and you click CLI, and you have access to the switch interface. This is where you type command. Don't worry, the next chapter is about how to use the command line. Okay, I'm just showing you the features of packet tracer and the importance of packet tracer. Okay, and one of the thing is you can get your CCNE or CCIE without purchasing expensive devices. All you can do just with the packet tracer. Okay. Now, so this is how you configure your end devices, networking devices. And to configure end devices, you'll see you click on the device, and you have different options here. Okay, what I want, the main option that you'll be working with most of the time is here, desktop. When you click on desktop, here it gives you different, so you can configure different different parameters of your end device. So for example, if you want to assign IP addresses, which is the main thing for testing, when you configure a network, you have to assign IP address to your end devices. So here you click IP configuration and you assign IP address. So later on, what we're going to do is we're going to use router as a DHCP server, and router will assign IP addresses. So if you click here, just like a real computer. So that's the whole purpose of this program, to simulate a real network. Okay. Excuse me.
Yeah, sounds like fun, sir.
Those of you who wants to have a career in networking, you're really going to enjoy. Look, I'm not judging anybody. I understand not everybody's is interested in networking. They come to this course, they want to do things like somebody wants to be a developer or whatever. But this course is mostly about networking. Okay, this program, because the thing is, the IT industry is it's I can the I okay. So yes, So this is okay. I'm gonna talk about this later on because I'm recording this and it's supposed to be only about packet tracer. Okay. Anyway, so here you IP sorry, here you assign uh, IP addresses. You go to and here you can test your connectivity. This simulates the command prompt, right? You can ping. You can use all the commands that you use in your computer. You can use ping, whatever. I don't know
Trace,
what other commands you have learned. Sorry,
trace it.
go ahead, Kwasi.
Trace it.
Tracer, of course, this is you're going to be using a lot when you're configuring router. So the tracer, NS lookup, NBT stat, net stat, I don't know. We're going to cover all these commands later on because you really have to know these commands. Okay, so these are the command lines and yeah, so these are the most of the time you're just going to be using IP configuration and command prompt and the terminal to connect to the routers, which I'll explain later. Okay. Uh, what other is important here? IP for you can maybe some other courses if you decide to go like if networking is something that you wanna specialize in, probably you'll be taking more courses, more advanced courses, and you can still use Packet Tracer for those advanced courses, and you can practice. You see, firewall, IP version 4 firewall, IP version 6 firewall, and all this. But we are not going to cover these in this program. Okay, this is something you can do later in the future. Here you can simulate. So if you configure a web server, let's say if you configure this as a web server, it's a server, right? If you click on services, you see you have all these services that you can configure or simulate. So let's say if you want to simulate a web server. So you configure HTTP service on a web server here. And then you can go to your end device and you and try and test your web server, okay, which we're gonna do it later. So I'm just showing you right now the capabilities of Packet Tracer, and you see you can test almost everything on Packet Tracer. uh, that's all. Okay, so what else is here? So for example, yeah, I let's say if I want to delete this switch here, you see this X, like this little cross here. You click here. Do you want to delete the selected item? No, always click no because then it's just going to delete the random item. So click no, and your cursor will turn into this cross, okay? And you just highlight whatever you want to delete and just click, and it will delete uh, 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 the object, okay? And then you can go back and click the select icon to bring it back to the normal cursor, okay? So very important to remember this because this is what you're going to be doing a lot. So let's say if I use instead of let's say if I supposed to use a straight through cable, crossover cable, but I by mistake I use straight through cable. Now I want to delete it. So just click this here, delete, bring back the cursor and highlight the object that you want to delete. In this case, we want to delete this connection. And that's it. Click once and go back and highlight it again. And now it's back to normal. So I'm showing you the things that you're going to be using the most. There are many different features of Packet Tracer, and what you can do is you can, if you want to learn Packet Tracer extensively, You can click help, and here there are tutorials. They're all very interactive tutorials. For example, here, creating a network topology. But this is, I already explained it to you. But if you want, if you don't remember, you can go back and yeah, watch these tutorials. And then there are tools, view. This is like, I don't want to overwhelm you. This is just the beginning. Slowly, as we go along, we will learn different features. But these are the main features of Packet Tracer. Okay.
Yeah.
Any question? So I'm gonna stop the record.